My name is Heather. I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark. My closet name is Hot Posh Fashions. And this is a closet review evaluation for Brittany. And so we're going to kind of look at Brittany's closet here and kind of give her some tips and tricks on how she can improve. I'll be speaking directly to Brittany during this video, but this is for the general public. Brittany has given permission for her closet and this video to be published on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get at it. Okay, so Brittany's closet, this is it right here. So she's B Basham 1584. Okay, so let's start with a little bit about Brittany. Based on Brittany's questionnaire, she has been actively selling on Poshmark for about a year. She sources from Goodwill outlet bins and donations from friends who want to keep unused clothing out of landfills. So good job, Brittany, for helping the planet there. Fashion, especially fast fashion, are just filling up landfills right and left around the world. So that's a great reason to be a reseller. How often do you share your own closet? She says she shares every day, nearly all day. Don't we all? And she sends 10% off offers and increase as the time that the offers item is listed. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. So she sends 10% off offers, and those increase as the time that the item is listed. Okay. She said that she was listing about 3 new items a day and she took a break, but that she's getting started back up to listing new items on a regular basis. She relists items after 60 days and she does that on a regular basis. And she says that she tries to follow about 1,000 new people a day. She doesn't typically do a lot of community sharing, but she tries to participate in a couple parties per month and share from those. She says that she doesn't use any particular photography software. She photographs in batches, and she uses a white surface and a clear white wall for her photos. She uses One Shop, so that's good. And her goal is, she's currently profiting about $700 a month, and she would like to profit about $1,000 a month. So to increase her overall sales profits. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so Brittany she's not a brand new seller. She's been selling for about a year, so she's kind of an intermediate seller. And so I would classify her as a seller who's wanting to level up, or one that's wanting to transition from being a hobby seller to someone who actually wants to start a small business. That's kind of what I'm feeling from Brittany. So she's invested in things like One Shop, and she's got the things like the sharing on a regular basis and the relisting on a regular basis, and the listing new items on a regular basis. So things like that, kind of some of the basic things that really push your closet to be real active. It sounds like she's doing a lot of those things. So some of those general tips and tricks I won't really talk about because Brittany's already doing them. And I'm going to stop saying Brittany because you're already doing them, Brittany. I'm talking to you, girlfriend. So you're already doing them. So I'm not going to talk a lot about those, although I do talk a lot about those types of things in some of my other videos for people that don't seem to be doing that a lot. So let's start off with your closet. First impression. Okay, so the first impression is your profile pic, which is super adorable. You look very happy and friendly and approachable. So I would buy from you. I think you look like a genuine person. You are a posh ambassador, which is great. That's a great goal to achieve and gives your closet some legitimacy. Buyers are more likely to buy from a posh ambassador just because, like I said, there are certain things that you have to achieve to reach that. So that is a good thing to have. You have your name on here, and your banner picture is really pretty. I love all the pink flowers. I'm a flower. I love florals. So that's really nice. I like that a lot. The only thing I would say maybe with the two, I hate it when my screen does that, with the two, is maybe figure out a way to get pictures that don't match but go together. If that makes sense? Not that they're exactly the same, but that they somehow play off of each other. Because these are just kind of, you're in both of them, I assume, but they're just kind of disjointed. They're not really a theme. So that's just, not anything that's a big deal. It's just, if you get the extra time and you want to improve something, that would be something I would say to improve, to, run with one of these, but try to get the other one to kind of pair along well with it, or, start over if you want to start something from scratch that's, more branded. You could do that too. So, that may be where you are at this point where you're trying to level up. You may be ready to start working on some branding. And that would be a great opportunity to start branding your closet. That's kind of the first place you start, is with your profile picture, your banner, and your closet name are kind of the first things that you want to start with when you want to brand. So your closet name, just to give you a little, if you want to try to level up for branding a little bit, you can at any time change your closet name, and it does not change your followers or anything like that. I've actually changed mine a couple times. But you can rebrand this if you want to get away from having it as kind of this like name, email type look. You can come up with a name for your business that you want to have. Like, I have Hot Posh Fashions, and you can see, like that's what my closet name is, Hot Posh Fashions. And when I first started, this was my name. This was probably my email, my personal email, to be honest with you. That's probably what it was when I first started. But at some point, if you want to go that step further, you start branding. So, kind of think about if that's something you want to start looking at, and that's where you start is, what brand what do I want to portray? Like, who am I? I think these florals, if this is your jam, I think, to go with a floral theme would be really great. And then just come up with some type of name. Essentially think of it as you're a store. You're a brick and mortar store. What do you want the sign outside to say on your brick and mortar store? And really dig deep down and like bounce it off some close friends or whatever. And you want it to be you want it to stand for you, but you also want it to portray a business. So that's kind of one suggestion I would have there, is to get that all starting to go on the ball of branding. Looks like you're a New York City girl. Okay, well, now my Podunkville is feeling a little inadequate. Okay, so let's go to my info. Let's look at about. Let's see what you're about. Okay, so this has you as a posher since December 2016, but like you said that you've just been actively selling for about a year. You ship within 2 days. That's good. And you've been active this last hour. Great. That means you're probably sharing or doing something to keep your closet active. Excellent. I noticed when I was going through that you have a lot of plenty of received love notes and plenty of given love notes. That's great. So this is all things that are establishing you as a seller on Poshmark. You've got all those things are building your reputation. So I think where you are right now is to transition into that brand. So turn yourself into a brand. Turn your closet into a brand. I think that's where you are. I really feel like that's where you are. Let's go to your first listings. Let's kind of look over here. Okay. So you don't particularly, you're like me. I'm guilty about this too. I don't particularly keep anything. I don't put a lot of time and effort into keeping, like certain things at the top, like, a big welcome sign or a branded sign of anything like that. I don't really do that. If anybody can tell me how to do that simply, maybe I will. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. So, I think that, we're jumping right into your closet here. Great. No problem. And I'm sure you're already aware that, it automatically defaults to the sorting of just shared, which means that the best way to have your items get the most attention is for you to be sharing or for one shop to be sharing for you on your behalf. So I think you already know that. You've got yourself, let's look at your stats here. 970 listings. Okay, so that's over the course of the lifetime of your closet. It's hard for me to tell how many of these are active. I feel like there's some place I can tell. But I do feel like you had a good amount when I was going through. I feel like that you were probably well over 100, maybe in the 200s. So I think that means that you have plenty, plus you sold plenty. So you're getting there. You're established. You're an established seller. I think that once this starts hitting like 1,000, that's a big number. That's just a number that people like to see. And this includes your available and your sold listings. You've got buku shares. You're great there. It's one shop's working for you. You've got plenty. You've got good on your followers, which it's meaningful, but it's not at the same time. So it's good to have established closet with a lot of followers, but at the same time, it's not the be all end all. Same with your following. So most people know, one way to get followers is to follow people. So the higher this number goes, this number tends to go follow along with it to some extent, usually about 2 to 1, like you've got here. You're good there, you're established, but I don't, it's not the be all end all. Followers don't really make a difference. There are some very established, some very successful closets that, are in the 150 range, which is a lot, but it's not like I've seen them in 400,000 or 500,000. So that mostly has to do with time and activity. I feel like that this isn't really indicative of the quality of closet you have, or the quality of the seller you have, or the quality of the business you have. It's more just like who's been here the longest. If you've been actively selling for a year and someone else has been actively selling for 5 years, well, of course, the person actively selling for 5 years is probably going to have more listings, just like the person who's been actively selling for 2 months is probably not going to have as many followers as you have. So it's really not anything that really means anything other than it kind of demonstrates how long you've been around. Okay. So I didn't get a best listing or needs improvement listing from you. So I'm just going to go. I actually played around in your closet a little bit yesterday, and I looked at some things that I just wanted to kind of talk about. So I'm going to go to the things that I liked. These are just things that I thought that we could talk about. Okay. So let's see. We're going to be kind of all over the place. The reason I saved these 2 pairs of shorts right here is because, first of all, I'm not familiar with this brand, ETWO, and it doesn't seem to be, it kind of looks like maybe it's a fast fashion brand. I'm not really sure, but I did look at comps on it, and it's really a cute pair of shorts, but this was my concern. You've got this cute pair of embroidered shorts next to this plain Gap pair of shorts, and you've got them both at the same price. So I feel like that these should not be equal price. Like I'm going to kind of go over why I think that here in just a second. So first off, I don't feel like these should be equal price. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I talk a lot about when to put a value here and when not to put a value there. I would only put a value in that original price if you know 100% for sure what the original price was, and if you are planning on listing and selling the item for significantly different price than what the original price is. I would say 50% discount or more, which you're at that. But I wouldn't put this unless I know for sure that $59 was the original price. And I kind of don't feel like Gap shorts would be $59, but I don't really buy a lot of Gap shorts, so I'm not sure. But anyways, I don't feel like these 2 items should be the same price. So what I did was I played around with your listing here. One thing I can do is, now I was playing with it on my phone, and as people hear a lot of my videos, I do most of the stuff on my phone, and this Chromebook is kind of new, but I went to this Sell Similar, okay, just to kind of see like what Poshmark would suggest. So I'm pretending that I'm selling the same thing. Okay. And when I went to that and then went to this price suggestions on my phone, this is the suggested price. Okay. When I click on that, there's some jeans, little denim shorts like what you've got. Okay. And these are the prices that they're selling at. So I like to put my prices just generally speaking, unless I think that these prices are, okay, so let me re-get my thoughts here. In this particular case, I feel like your shorts are very, very similar to these shorts that are available in this description, in this suggested listings right here. So I think that you can follow these pretty closely. At which point I would say, personally, I would take the price that they're saying and add just a little bit to it so that you have wiggle room to give discounts on both your price offers to likers, bundle discounts, and shipping discounts, and still achieve a sale, in this 13 to 27 range, hopefully closer to the higher end of it. So what I mean by that is I think I would probably price, if this was what I was seeing and these were the jeans I had and they're very similar items and the listings are similar quality and all else being equal, I feel like it's very equal, then I would probably list these at $29, which would be where I would list them. That's what I would do, in hopes of selling them for maybe around $20. That would be kind of where I would hit. But if, for example, you came on here and this was saying, $5 to $10, and you looked at these and they were all plain. Maybe they were the same brand, but they all were like, where's the one that's plain? They all looked like this. Okay, they were all just plain, no embroidery. So that means what you're selling is a slightly higher, more interesting quality than what they're saying are similar to the items, in which case you could go even higher. So if this was the range they were saying, okay, so let's just stick with the numbers they have here. If this was the range they were saying, but all the jeans in here looked like this one right here, and then you have these cute little ones with embroidery, then I wouldn't go just to the 29. I might go to like 35 or 39. Like, say they're even better than what's in here, and that's what those are selling for, and mine are even better. With that being said, you could take it the other direction too. So say, for example, these are your shorts and your shorts are kind of a plain one. And this comes up and it says, this price right here, but you have plain shorts and everything in here is fancy smancy, got all these embroidered or got all these special additional details that yours just don't have. Yours are more basic. And then you would need to kind of like maybe bring it down a little bit. So then I would really start looking at some of the individual prices and be more cautious to not go too high. But I really feel like a lot of times people underprice their items as opposed to overpricing their items, because Poshmark really is kind of a psychological selling game of where people like to feel like they're getting a deal. People love to feel like they're getting a deal. So people love to get a discount. People love to get percentage off or BOGOs or free shippings or whatever. So if you can build some of that into your listing price, but not have your listing price so high that it turns people off so they don't even show any interest in your item. In other words, I wouldn't go and like list these for $50. Because you might be too high. Although we could look and see, because that's not the only part of what, you don't want to look at just what's sold. You also want to look at what's available. So, I wouldn't say go crazy with your price and go so high that you put yourself out of the market so no one even looks twice at your item, or no one looks at it, no one looks twice, and nobody even clicks like or anything on it. You want to stay somewhere in the right range. So, okay, so now let's look and see what's available. So those are what's sold. So let's look and see what's available. Okay, because that's also important. And you'll kind of see where people are pricing. I'm so happy that yours popped up. That makes me happy that when I put in the description, yours popped up. Wonderful. Okay. So you're right in there. You're right in there with these other people. I still think, so you might push yourself out. So just because, this is the other thing, is just because you don't necessarily worry too much about having the highest price if yours are standing out. So one thing I would say is this person could probably go up in their price because they have a large, and larges are harder to come by. So anytime you have a bigger size, you can, or an unusual size, you can probably go up just a little bit, maybe 10%, 15%. This person's underselling themselves too. I'm not sure what's going on over here. $5 for new with tags, and they have a really nice picture. I'm not sure why they're at $5, but that's odd. Excuse me. But anyways, and they're at 25. So if I was this person, I wouldn't put this right here because to me, that's not a big enough gap to make it look like that person, to make that person feel like they're really getting a deal. I would just leave it at 0. Okay. Just leave it at 0. Unless you have a retail tag on the item and it's new with tags and you have the retail tag right there, then, go ahead and put it in. But even then I don't. I mostly just put it at 0. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to have anything in there. And I think that you're putting yourself in a box of what you can sell it for, because it's not really the retail value or the original price of it isn't necessarily what it's worth. Things could have a retail value when they were sold at one thing, but now maybe they're not made anymore and they're, in high demand. And so they might be worth more, or, maybe they were sold at one good price, but this market's oversaturated and they're not worth anything. Maybe they were sold at $100, but now you could pull this up and find 500 of them. So they're not worth anything. So, you don't have that many of these here. And again, I don't know this brand or where it comes from, so I'd have to do some research on it. But, I feel like you could at least do 25 and match this person and it not push you out of the market. I actually prefer yours. I think yours are a better, more in style color. And I like your detailing here. This person must have a bunch of these. Let's look and see. They've got various sizes. Let's see if they have a small. They don't have a small. Okay, so you're not really competing with this person because they don't have the size available that you have. So they look like they have exactly the same shorts, but not in the size you have. So don't worry too much about them. And they've got the same size you have, but in a different short. And I feel like yours might be a little better on trend because of the lighter wash of denim, that lighter acid wash you've got. So I think you could at least do 25. With that being said, you have 3 likers because I'm one of them. So you have 3 potential buyers on this listing. So I would send them out an offer. And if you let's see how old this is. You said you relist your items after 60 days. So let's check. 1/7/22. Okay, so this is new or newly relisted. Okay, so I would send an offer, and maybe if you don't get a bite, think about bringing it up. But it's not that much. It might not be worth your time if you don't want to do that to bring it up $5 or $9 or whatever. Maybe going forward, it would be something you could think about, as how to price that. You could, I think, price that a little bit higher. So while we're on this one, let's just look at it a second. So you've got your brand, good. Floral, I would get the word embroidered in here. And with that being said, I would also put embroidered in your style tags. And I would probably try to get the word embroidered. Well, if you're doing the same thing I do, where you put your title in your description, which is good. So if you have the word embroidered in your description, in your title, it's also going to be in your description if you're copying and pasting it down like that. So I would get the word embroidered in there. I would get something about this wash. So like light acid wash, you have plenty of room. You have more room to put stuff. Maybe the length of these shorts, are they mini? They look kind of mini. So, or I don't know, maybe you could put something about how long the shorts are, not necessarily in inches, but more like the style length. And then the rise, like what's the rise? Do you have the rise on here? Rise, 9.5. So it's like a mid-rise. So you could put that in there too, mid-rise. You could also put mid-rise in your style tags. And I think, I'm not an SEO expert, but I think that I noticed that you put these little these dashes in your titles. And I think that if I remember correctly learning, I don't think Google likes these, the Google search engines. I don't think like these. I think that any emojis, any commas, or special characters or things of this nature, it throws off the search engine. So I would go through and take these out. I have a feeling that you are an organized person and that is somehow your way of organizing things. I noticed you have them, like some of them you even have 2 or 3 of those in there, but I think that you're hurting yourself in the search engine. I don't think you need the word style. I think boho, or even if you want to spell out bohemian, is great, but style is not something that someone would search, or it's too broad of a search, and it's not really reflective of this. You could just use boho or bohemian and still get the same point across, and you're taking up 5 characters with that could be better used for things like, embroidered, spelling out bohemian, and also having the word boho at the same time, having mid-rise in there, having acid washed in there, things of that nature. So you could, distressed, these are distressed. You could have the word distressed in there. They're also like a cutoff style. So you could have cutoff in there. So there's so many other words that you could be using and not have, 5 characters here and then another, you've got 2 for that and the space. So there's 2. So there's 7 characters that don't need to be used. Plus there's still, I think you could probably get a whole nother line almost in here. So really use all your characters to have a descriptive title that's getting keywords, getting the keywords in there. And if this is, I need to know what this is. I'm trying to figure out what this is. If this is like the name of the brand, or does it spell out, or I probably should have done this research ahead. Clothing. I think I got an extra letter in there. Well, that didn't help. So, excuse my coughing. So that didn't really help me much. But, whatever this brand is, if it had a full name and you had the room to write it out, then I would at least get one of the words or something, just in case someone was to search the full name. But it does look like ETWO is what's actually on the tag, so that may just be the full name of it, so that's fine. Excellent pre-owned, that's good. I write pre-owned also. You've got your size rewritten and your measurements rewritten. Do you have your measurements photographed? No. Okay, so measurements are kind of like everyone has their own groove with measurements. So I personally, let me see if I can go to one of mine just to show you something measurements. What's with all the purses? Okay, let's go. I don't know. Let's go to this. Oh, that's one of my, that's not going to have measurements, does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. So this is one of the ways I do measurements that's not my measurement. That's my tag. Okay. So I'll literally take the pictures of them with the tape measure, because then I don't have to I'm not binding myself to a measurement size so that they can't come back and be like, oh, you said it was, what's this look like? It looks like 15.5, which would be what, a 31? So you said it was a 31, but it's really a 32. Or you said it was a 31, but it's really a 30. I can be like, I didn't say it was anything. I put the measuring tape there for you to look at, so you can determine what that is yourself. And these say 30, so I'm not sure. These might have been labeled when I purchased them. I think these were labeled as a 30, like the tag inside. Let's see. So like, see, I'm even laying it down and I feel like that's a 31, but there must be a tag somewhere. I also take pictures of all the tags. Yeah. So there's a tag that says 30. So I take pictures of all the tags so that I don't have to write, even though you'll see I used my, one of my services to put a lot of this stuff in. So, there's a lot of details in there, but had I not had that, I wouldn't have to write all this stuff because it's in the pictures. And, I've got all my inseam and my cuff, the rise, but it's all photographed so that nobody can say that I said the wrong thing. Like, they can look at it themselves. They can see exactly where I'm starting the measurements, exactly where I'm ending the measurements. So there's no guess as to, where was the start and where was the end? Like, did you measure it correctly? Because everyone might measure things a little bit differently. Are you measuring this thing correctly? I'm trying to see if I have, well, I don't know what this thing's doing. Where's my whole closet? Hold on, computer's thinking. I'm going to go to my, get out of the boutique stuff and go to the closet because that's where I have a lot of measurements. Okay, so like this, for example, I'm pretty sure I have measurements on this. Even though I have a stock photo, I think I took measurements of it also. So, yeah. So here's the actual item, and I'm showing like exactly. So I wouldn't just go in here and write pit to pit 19 inches. You could, but by having this picture, I mean, you're obviously taking the measurements, so you might as well photograph the measurements while you're taking them so that the person knows exactly where you measured to and where you measured from. Like, I measure my sleeves pit to wrist, but some people measure it from the shoulder down to the wrist. So like, that just lets them know exactly where I'm starting and where I'm ending. So they can see that. And then I don't have to, you're already measuring them and then you're writing them over here. So instead of doing that, just snap a picture of it. And then you don't have to do all that. You don't have to write it out and you don't have to risk having it, not be exactly what they think it is. Maybe they're thinking you measured it one way and you measured it another way. So that's just that's kind of how I do it. And like I said, people have different thoughts on that. I also put the word approximate, which I would recommend. So when I have my service, my listing service list something, let me see if I can think of something. I've just kind of started with them recently. So when I have them list something, I have them put the word approximately. Let me show you one of the listings from them if I can find one easily. Excuse me. This is probably them. Yeah. Okay. So again, I've got my pictures of my item, but then I have like tags and just the pictures of the measurements so they can see exactly where I'm measuring. But then the service that I use, they use the pictures, and they weren't putting this word approximately, but I've requested them to do that so that nobody can say these are not what I feel like they measure at. So I put the word approximately just to kind of cover my rear. So there's no argument about what the size is. Okay. That's just stuff I do, just little tidbits. Okay, so let's get out of this listing. I feel like we've kind of beaten that horse a little bit. So let's just look at this Gap one just for giggles, and I want to see what they're comping, what Poshmark is comping these Gap shorts at. So they're comping them at 8 to 17. Let's see. That I wouldn't go by this vintage one because yours is not vintage. Okay, so one thing I would suggest, let's see, what our title look like on this one. Okay, light wash, high rise shorts. Okay, so that's good. Again, get rid of your dashes here. You can call them cutoff shorts. Maybe talk about this length. I think Gap usually has, what's this picture tag? Oh, your size. I think I think Gap usually has like a style for like their length. So maybe if you have that word, or you can look it up based on how long these are, you could put that in there, because people are very particular about their length. And I would just, like I've said in some of the other ones, I would just put that at 0, just because. Okay, let's see what else we got. I'm gonna, just so that I can not beat dead horses, I'm gonna get rid of these once I've clicked on them. Okay. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to get a drink. Hold on. Okay. So these videos that you have, I would try to get these pictures clean. I would either maybe search for an image, like Bambi movie poster. Maybe do that, Bambi movie poster. And maybe get like a nice clean image for your cover photo. I'm just saying, for your cover photo. Like, here we go. Can we get this? Let's see. Can we steal any of this? That's not in English, I don't think, right there. Let's see. Save image. There we go. I think we saved it. I think it's saved. Okay, so, oh no, there it is. There it goes. Okay, so see, I could save that image and then have that nice clean image, that's not going to have any of my, light in my house flashing weird off of it or anything like that. Still have this picture, just have it further down, like have your cover shot be your best shot of whatever you can get, the very best shot. So, that wasn't hard to go grab that, and it's not going to be in the right format because it's rectangular and this is square, but still you can, sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but still you can, even if it meant putting brown or putting black over here, or even if it meant going over into photo room and using, where's that? Okay, so you could do something like this with it. Let's see if it works. See what it does. Okay, so I have Photo Room Pro. So it does my white backgrounds real easily, and this does too. I just don't know why it's not popping it up at the top for me, because mine just puts it, if I logged in under my account, it would pop it right up. But I don't want to do that because I don't want people to think that with the free version they can do all the stuff that I can do with the pro version that I have. But we might just go like into this Poshmark one and just erase this word. Hold on. Yeah, we might just delete this. How do I get rid of this? Sorry, dear. Let's see. Delete. There we go. Okay. And then I can even like make this bigger. It doesn't have to be that size. I've turned it by accident. Okay. So, you could just kind of play around with it and just have this clean image that looks, it just looks a little bit more professional. That little teeny bit of like, it's a more professional image, this is okay. This is okay. And you want to have your cover of your movie in your listing. But this image would just pop more when someone's searching or just scrolling through their feed or whatever, or their Google search or whatever. This is going to be more appealing to the eye than this image is. Although, again, have this image in your listing, just not as your cover shot. Okay, so Bambi Disney VHS tape. Let's see, what else could you put there? Maybe, I mean, you got plenty of space. So put Walt Disney Classic, Bambi, VHS tape. Let's see. You could put vintage. You could put rated G, any of that type of stuff. So anything, you could even do a search and kind of come up with, see what some of the things are that are coming up when you put Bambi. Like, how is it being described? You could put the word animated. Okay. Animated. So you kind of see like where I'm going, like just to kind of get some more words in there, like something that describes, I mean, Bambi, you could put friends. It's about friends, you know. So anything, just fill that. You do film. You know, I'd almost take out the is a, and then put the word book. So put like Bambi, 1942, American animated film, Walt Disney book. Put book in there too. You know, because it's based on a book. So I mean, you know, just things like that. You know, use your words, use your characters, as many of them as you can, because the more you have in there, the more likely your listing is going to pop up on a search when someone searches. So say someone is searching for information on the book Bambi. Well, if you put book in there also, you may pop up. Say someone is just searching American animation. Well, if you have American animation in there, your Bambi listing is going to pop up. So the more you can have in there that's relevant towards the keywords that are relevant to what you're selling, when someone Google searches it, the more likely it is to come up in their Google search, and the more likely they're to find their way to your listing and potentially be a buyer of either that or something else in your closet. Okay, so we talked about Bambi. And I noticed you had a lot of videos, so that would be kind of my same recommendation for all of those videos. Okay, this one I brought up because I noticed that this has a brand, and it's actually Liz Claiborne. So Crazy Horse Jeans, I think that says, a Liz Claiborne company. I would almost put this as Liz Claiborne as your brand, so that because that's, I feel like vintage you have to type in. I don't feel like vintage is something, I'm not sure. But this is much more, I would go much more Liz Claiborne here. And then I would get rid of your dash and have Liz Claiborne as your beginning title, or even this Crazy Horse Jeans. Travel flag themed. You don't need the word themed, so you could put travel flag, button down, short sleeve, shirt. What is this made out of? Don't know. And you don't have a picture of it. Okay. That's going to be a question you're going to get sick of asking. I'm hearing, not asking, but hearing, is people are going to say, hold on, is it on here? Rayon. Okay. Okay, so you got it right there. That's one thing that's one reason I really started making an effort to make sure I took a picture of the tags with the fabric content, is because I started getting a lot of, what is it made out of? What is it made out of? What is it made out of? So after you do that a couple times, and you either have to go dig it out of your inventory to find out, or you have to tell them you don't know, or whatever, you lose the sale. I make sure, which you did, I was just, reiterating, I make sure that I get that in there so that, excuse me, so that I can not have to answer those questions. I'd almost maybe also put Americana and maybe somewhere down here. Do you have Americana in here? I think I'd put the word Americana too. I like that you're using tags. You're doing good there. I mean, overall, you're doing really good. Like, I'm literally having to nitpick to find things. So I'm not going to trust what I'm going to get when I do this sell something similar, just because I don't think your description is, or I don't think your title is strong. So we'll see what it says, but I don't feel like that's necessarily... I feel like if you had Liz, ooh, hold on, this is eerily similar. I wonder, see, it doesn't let me click on it here. Yeah, and like literally, I don't think you have Liz Claiborne or the brand of that shirt even in the title. Okay, there it is, Liz Claiborne. I take that back. Liz Claiborne. Okay. I would also get this crazy horse jeans or whatever that says. I would get that in there too, just because you never know. I mean, this may have some type of following. I am so sorry for the coughing. Let's just look this up. Crazy horse jeans, Liz Claiborne. Crazy horse. I'm just going to put Liz Claiborne because I'm not sure if that says. Claiborne shirt. Just curious what we get. Okay, so I mean, I feel like your shirt would stand out in this crowd. So anytime you're running comps on something and you're thinking about your pictures and stuff like that, imagine that this is your competition. Okay? This is who you're competing against. So if you were in a sporting event and you see the team next to you warming up and you're kind of like catching your eye over there, like you can kind of get a feel of like, how this game's going to go. So this is who you're competing against, given you have the brand in your title, which you need to have the brand in your title. You've got plenty of characters, so get it in there. It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you. And then you get in with this crowd right here, provided maybe there may be a following for this crazy horse vintage look, So I feel like you should definitely get that in there. There's a patriotic patchwork. So yeah, I mean, I think that title could use some improving. And then I think that, let's see, we're like looking in the listings are, in the 2025, high teens, 2025. And what you got yours at? 18. You're okay. But I feel like if you strengthen this title a little bit, if you want to stay in the vintage category, that's fine. Maybe just get Liz Claiborne in the title. And you'll be okay. That's kind of up to you. And then, really get some more words in here that are searchable terms. So, I mean, even, let's see, do you have anything in the keywords that... Maybe international. You could put international. Do we know? I'm not good with flags, but are these a specific area? Like, are these European flags? Well, it's U.S. Are they a certain time period? I'm not sure. Like, what? I feel like this is Britain. Maybe got France in there. I don't know. But I mean, if there's any particular theme to those flags as far as, geographically where they are, or, are they NATO, or, who are they? Okay. Let's see. Okay, these right here, something I was going to say about this picture is you can get, I'm trying to think of what it would be called, shoe, oh, that's not the term I wanted. I clicked the wrong one. This might be, okay, here we go. These right here, when you have little sandals like that, specifically little sandals that have that, they're just going to flop over. These little shoe things you put in there, and they act as like a foot. So they hold the shoe open so you can really see what it looks like. This would just look like a flat mess without that. Due to the length of this video, I've decided to go ahead and turn it into a part 1 and a part 2 series. So this is going to be the end of part 1. I'm sorry if it ended abruptly. I will have the link at the end here to show the link to go to part 2 to watch that. And I hope you'll join us. And thank you so much, Brittany, for letting me look in under your closet. And let's go to part 2.